Are men useless?
Do you think men are important? Like for what?
When ladies say, I don't need a man.
Do women need men?
No, we do not need men.
Why you always lying?
Men need us.
That's the question that was asked to a group of young ladies on the street, and now the television show The View are doing a reaction to it, and you will be amazed at what women are saying across the country when it comes to are men useless. So let's take a listen to what they have to say. You're watching Andrea and Andrea's Love Crossing Borders Travel Unraveled Edition. Subscribe to the channel. Click that like button. We like you. Make sure you like us too. Let's get started. Once again, we're going to do a reaction to a video that's been going viral by the television show The View, in which a panel of ladies are discussing a video that has gone viral regarding, do women in the United States need men? Let's hear what they have to say.
Viral online of a dozen women being asked the following question: do we need men? Most answered very quickly, no. And only one said she thought women needed a man in their lives, only one. But when men were asked a similar question, do we need women, most of them said yes.
You know why is that? Because most women in the West, and when we say the West, we're talking from Australia to America. We're talking about Canada all the way to UK. We're talking about the Western Hemisphere with the Western mindset. You wonder why men are taking their lives and their money and getting passports and going to other locations? This is the reason why. Because many women, not all, because a lot of women in the United States don't feel this way at all. A lot of women in the United States still believe in the family dynamic and realize that they do need men. But as for some younger women that were on the video that we just watched, as well as these older ladies, they believe that they do not need men. But the real answer to that is they believe that they don't need men now. Now that men have built the United States and the West to the point of where it is infrastructure-wise, as long as men have actually established the U.S. economy and the way that we do commerce, the way that we do it now, they don't need you now. Now that they have laws in place that whenever they wake up in the morning, they can take 50% of what you own, take the house, take the kids, get alimony and child support, and you have to pay the attorney fees. At the same time, they live in a country that even if they were impoverished, poor, they will still get EBT cards and WIC, as well as Section 8 for a home. When it comes to homelessness in the United States, there are only 10, and I'll say this again, 10 homeless shelters that cater 100% to men. Yet there are thousands of homeless shelters that cater to women. So they live in a country, and many of you in the UK as well as in Canada are living under the same umbrella as Australia. To where you feel that you don't need men now. But yet when it came to the answer of the men saying that they need women, the men were laughed at and mocked. And yet, once again, you plantation bros are men in the United States that criticize the passport bros or expats or digital nomads for leaving the United States and going to find new lives and new wives in other countries. While you criticize us, well, we can see why. Because this is the norm.
Can we talk about independent women for a second? You know what's crazy? They don't need a fucking man because they're making their own money. They're paying their own bills. They're taking care of the things they need. But the thing is, they don't need you. They want you. And that's the fucking difference. You don't sit here and get to place yourself in a woman's life and expect it to revolve all around you, that you get to take care of this, this, and that. Because sometimes you gotta realize, like, hey, she likes being independent. She doesn't like having to depend on anyone for anything because she got tired of waiting for some man to come into her fucking life and step up in the ways that he should have.
This is not something abstract or far-fetched in the United States, this mindset of believing that they don't need men except for financial gains and to have children is the norm in the West.
I love men. Like, I think men are the coolest, but I don't need them to survive.
You do actually need men to survive, and here's why. Everything that you see around you was built and created and maintained by men.
Okay.
Everything. The infrastructure in this country, in every single country in the world, is built, created, and maintained by good, honest, hardworking men that just want to provide for their family. Everything, the roads you drive on, the buildings you live in.
So let's not fight it and let's not hide from it. Let's look at it for what it is. Women in the United States don't believe that they need men now.
So why do you think that is?
Because men are useless. I mean, love it. And by the way, I want to differentiate between straight men and gay men, because I think I would die without gay men. Nobody can gossip like gay men. Nobody can help you accessorize.
Said the woman who's married to a multimillionaire politician lawyer who said that he's useless. She'll talk about later on about being married for 20 years to a useless multimillionaire, a useless politician, a useless lawyer. That's how they feel about you. So if you guys think that you're going to get your money up in the United States and then they'll respect you, or if you acquire or accomplish something, then they're going to respect you. No, guys, this is the norm in the United States, in the country that we all love so much. No matter where we live, we're going to always be Americans and we'll always love America. But let's look at things for what they are. This is the norm in the United States, in Canada, in UK, in Australia, in New Zealand, in westernized countries. This is how women think of you. They don't need you now. Now that they have degrees, now that they have the education that they believe that they have so much, now that they've got all this college debt, now that they've got you giving them children without giving them a ring, now that they are able to build businesses, as they would say. But at the end of the day, you guys are becoming more and more obsolete, not when the cameras are on, but when the cameras are off. This is how the average woman in the United States feel about you. Now, once again, I'm going to emphasize on the fact, not all women in the United States think like these women.
Men don't need women. Women need men. Men could survive without women. If all the women disappeared tomorrow, men would be fine outside of reproduction. If tomorrow they made artificial wombs, what would they need a woman for? Who's a better companion, men or women? So men built the world. All the hard jobs are done by men. If men disappeared tomorrow, society would collapse. Men built the world that we complain about.
Arguably, one of the driving forces for men doing what they do is women.
What I'm saying is men could survive without women. Because men can be alone, women can't. Women are social beings, and men don't. You don't see women going out to the woods and just roughing it. That's a man thing.
A lot of women feel that this was sad and this was embarrassing to see women talk like this about somebody's uncle, somebody's cousins, grandfathers, fathers, male co-workers, and so forth. So there are a lot of women in the United States that do not agree with this behavior. But no matter how these other women may feel, those women aren't the norm. These women are the normal women in the United States. Embrace it, guys. These are your women. But as for us who have passports, we're going to where we are celebrated and not just tolerated.
Guys like gay men, nobody can help you keep you from doing harm to yourself like gay men.
And once again, she's celebrating a whole group of men other than her man. Her man, who's a multimillionaire, he's lazy, he's useless. But a gay man who makes her feel safe, who can gossip with her, who can talk about his feelings, well, he's useful. In other words, gay men, you don't even realize that they look at you as a tool to be used, to be gossiped with, to be gossiped about. At the end of the day, these women don't care about you as a person. They care about you as if you were a toy, a Barbie doll that they could that could bring alongside, play with, and then put it to the side when they don't need it. So don't think that this is a compliment to you, LGBTQ brethren. It's not a compliment. She's actually saying that gay men are only useful because of a certain thing that you bring to the table. And if you no longer are able to bring that thing that you can bring to the table, that listening ear, she considers you and they consider you just as useless as they consider us.
But with the exception of somebody like Steve, I think Steve is very self-sufficient.
That's Joy's husband.
But like my husband, it takes a village of women to make sure that he's not emaciated, starving, and living in his own filth. He can, you know.
Yeah.
How about you guys? Well, I feel you guys are married to people that are more.
I have Handy Manny at home. He fixes everything. When things go bump in the night, he's the one that goes downstairs. When there's a bug to be exterminated, he does the extermination.
Nope.
When there is something to be fixed, he fixes it. He throws out the trash and he throws out the recyclables. I enjoy all the man stuff.
So wait a second. I know what you're going to say, but wait. She's really talking about a servant. Let's face it.
No.
She's really talking about a servant. Let's face it. This is how they think about you guys. I want you to let this sink in, since all you plantation bros, and plantation bros are men that have criticized passport bros and expats and digital nomads for leaving the United States for new lives and new wives and new countries. Since you have so much to say about us, then let's see what you are calling to be so great back on the plantation. Because these are the women that are still on the plantation with you. And these are the type of women, no matter what age, no matter what race, no matter what culture, these are the ones that are saying that you are useless. But yet women in other countries are still celebrating their men, celebrating their fathers, still celebrating their husbands, celebrating their sons. Not in the United States, not anymore. You are a servant. It's kind of funny how when a man does what he needs to do for his family, he's a servant. But when you ask a woman in the United States to do what she needs to do for her family, she calls herself a slave. You guys can't win. And since you guys don't want to win, don't worry about it. Us passport bros will continue to win.
It's a handyman she's talking about.
No, it's a handy manny.
Oh, it's a handyman with benefits.
We do not have.
Well, but the things that you're describing, you could pay somebody to do that. We're not talking about that. What about the inner life of a man? That's what this is about.
I need my man 3 to 4 times a week, and good for you guys. And then the rest of the time, I need a wife, because I've always said that
everyone needs a wife.
No, I tease Vicky, my producer, in the morning. I was like, if you'd like to join Max and I, not in that way, but like Vicky and I could kill it as a household runners. Like we would be laughing, giggling, doing all the things, and Max would be so psyched I was wasting all my words somewhere else anyway. So it would be a perfect combo. And the other day, Caleb said to me, this is my youngest son, he said, Mama, I want a spare mom. And I didn't know what he meant. And he's like, he said, Genevieve has a spare mom. And I realized the parents were divorced.
A nanny?
No, divorced. An extra mom, like 2 moms. And so I asked him, because at first I was a little wounded. I was like, what am I not doing? You know, and he's like, no, I just think at bedtime, you always have to pay attention to the other kids too. And if we had a spare mom, Dad, and you could, then you just get to focus on me. And
Okay. A spare mom. Every other country I've visited, mothers have been able to handle motherhood, careers, and being a wife. It's not easy, and I'm not going to say that it is, but they've been able to accomplish it with no problems. The ups and downs and turmoils of being a mother in a family and its challenges that all women have to deal with throughout the history of mankind. No issues until we get to the point where women say, we don't need men. And now they need an extra wife. And if your son has not been groomed in this scenario, if her son had not been groomed at this stage in life to realize that he has siblings and mom is not going to be spending all of her time on you, then you need to do some new home training with the son. You don't need an extra husband. You need a therapist, a family therapist.
It was so sweet. He didn't ask for a spare dad, by the way. He asked for a spare mom.
I took this totally differently in how I prepped because broadly speaking, I feel like men have proven largely useless. Like I think in the political moment, the people who are saying what needs to be said in my party, it's all women. The very few men, with the exception of Mike Pence and a few others, are saying what they need to. But in life, like I need my husband. I don't know if I need any other.
So she just said, as a Republican, nobody is standing up for Republican rights. Donald Trump isn't doing it. Mitch McConnell isn't doing it. None of those men are standing up and saying anything. Only the women in the Republican Party are saying anything worth saying. Even adding fuel to the fire, she says that all men are obsolete except for her husband. It's kind of funny how whenever they have a purpose for you, then you are of use. The moment that they can't get anything out of you financially, or as far as having children outside of wedlock, or when it comes to using you to do something for them, you are obsolete. You are put in the category of men that they no longer need. This is your norm in the West, gentlemen. Once again, embrace it. Don't criticize us for leaving it. But do realize that if you go throughout all 50 states, this is the behavior, the normal behavior of the westernized women. Now, I'm going to emphasize again, is this all women? No.
Do we need men in our society? Listen to this.
Do we need men?
No.
Do we need men?
Honestly, no.
Do we need men?
No.
Why?
Because they suck.
Okay, well, some bad news to these man-hating feminists. I am so sorry to break this to you, but we absolutely need men. And not just for the sake of our population not dying out forever and the world coming to an end, but, well, men are imperative in the most important fields in the world. Men make up 85% of the military. That house or building you're currently sitting in, guess what? Almost 99% of construction jobs are man-made. Firemen, 92% men. Pilots, 91% men. 82% of farming jobs proudly occupied by men. And I just said the word man-made. It's something I celebrate, but it's interesting because I was just thinking about it. And I'm like, you know what? There is going to come a time, probably not too far off from now, where the word man-made is no longer even allowed to be used. I can just see the liberal nut jobs coming after the word man-made. I mean, the writing is already on the wall, as we have already seen. But back to other men-dominated industries that we would clearly suffer without. Landscapers, well over 99% men. 99% of carpenters are men. Inventors, fishermen, policemen, also all male-dominated professions. So, guys, let's just cut the BS. Even if you hate men or embody the most extreme forms of feminism, there is no way you can say that we do not need men. And don't forget, if it wasn't for a man, you would not be alive. And that is a scientific fact.
There are some fantastic, amazing, beautiful, supportive, cooperative, submissive, encouraging, peaceful giving women in the United States in the millions. But they are not the norm. And in this video and on this channel, we don't just talk about exceptions. We talk about the norm.
Other men, but he is irreplaceable.
Yeah, I think so.
But that's what I was saying. We like our husbands, we just don't need men beyond that.
Yeah, wait till you're married 20 years and you'll see how replaceable
The
they
reason
are.
that women
It's just amazing how she couldn't just be happy for the younger woman. Just be happy for her that she says that I appreciate my husband. What did she come back with? Wait till you marry 20 years, then come back. Well, that's your situation, ma'am. That doesn't mean that's everybody's situation. Once again, when women try to come together and even kumbaya, they still cut each other with passive aggressive behavior.
as long as they do is because they have a lot of girlfriends.
They have a village.
They have girlfriends. Because I always have to initiate the conversations. He'll step up, but I have to
I thought you were going to say
them.
initiate.
Oh, I don't-
I just told you guys, I have 8 girlfriends from Panama here who are girlfriends for 50 years since they were in kindergarten.
Oh, I love
And it's that, and they were saying yesterday that they've gone through divorces, they've gone through challenges, and having that village of women has made it possible.
But we
for
are
them.
more collaborative.
Why is that? Well, let's go back to when societies were just hunter-gatherers. Why is it that when women come together, they're so talkative, and when men come together, we are choice with our words, and we say what we need to say, and we move on? During the era of hunter-gatherer, remember, guys, that women were left in the villages, and still like that in many parts of the world, women were left in one location, and they were in groups. And so as they were raising the children, taking care of the family, making sure everything was taken care of in the village or the small town, men, where were they? They were out hunting. They were out fishing. They were out farming. And what is one of the things that is a qualification for a person that's a hunter or even a fisherman for the most part? Silence. Men weren't out in the jungles or in the plains and they were speaking out loud. No, you ruined the hunt. And so it is today. Men know how to sit in one place for hours upon hours and focus with our inner thoughts and not have to speak at all. So when we came back to the village and women such as these would say, well, why aren't you talking to me? My mind has been programmed not to talk as much. And this is one of the reasons why men differ from women when it comes to communication. Therefore, throughout the history of time and the development of societies, men have never been more talkative than women. So when women sit back and criticize this, they should be happy that men weren't like that. Because if we act like women act when it came to communication, a lot of what men have accomplished to build civilizations would not have occurred just based off the fact if we were like women, talking too damn much.
Collaborative than men. I think there have been studies that say that women have much closer friendship relationships than men do.
Because
I think we have to make a differentiate gay men.
No, gay men are
in their own category.
Yeah, but we're not married to gay men, okay?
Oh,
but women.
And the funny part about this gay man thing, do realize gay men, once again, they just look at you as objects. They look at you as if they would look at a pet. It entertains them. You're a part of their gossip entertainment.
Women have conversations about their feelings. Men talk about
It's
sports,
socializing,
cars, all that stuff.
I don't know. My husband talks about his feelings with his
Maybe he's
friends.
gay. Next.
Did I not say they use that passive aggressive behavior to chop each other up when they're in groups? To sit back and tell one woman that her husband might be gay because he communicates or expresses his feelings. So women normally see men who express their feelings as gay, but yet complain about us men who aren't talkative and don't express our feelings. Which one is it, ladies? I'm talking to you plantation bros. This is your normal life. This is what you're going to deal with to the day that you die. As for the rest of us, this is not what we deal with. This is not the normal behavior in the countries in which we go to. As I just mentioned, not every woman in the United States think like these women on The View.
I really feel for the men, guys who have so much, they're working so hard, they're trying to prove themselves because society makes them. And to have this girl come here and just completely belittle you on the internet. These are good men out there. It's not about the dollar sign, it's about the intention. If a guy takes me to McDonald's and then buys me a meal, amazing. I love McDonald's. It's the intention. It's the fact that he made a point and said, hey, I've got this. I want to take you out. It's about the fact that someone went out of their way and they wanted to do a wonderful gesture for you. That's the point.
When it comes to men still having a place in society and in families. But like I mentioned also, that the women on The View and the women on TikTok are rapidly becoming the norm. Normally, how women see you guys in the United States. Well, my name is Andre of Andre and Andrea's Love Crossing Borders. This is Travel Unraveled Edition, and we'll see you in the next video as we keep our lives on airplane mode.